now beaming into Nerd FT Radio.
This is Nerd FT Radio, where nerds full-time, explorers of the metaverse, surfers of the blockchain, and not in our mom's basement. I'm your host, RSG, aka the Snap Boy, and I'm here with Crypto Crier, aka the editor-in-chief of NRN. How are you, Crier?
Baby? Doing good. Been editing some videos. We've got some new content, short form coming out, so look out for those.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, head over to the NRN Instagram, NRN TikTok, NRN Twitter, my Instagram, my Twitter, Crier's Twitter, everything you can think NRN. We have our new Quick Hitters edition for multiple projects in the space, from Cool Cats, Sappy Seals Doodle, Yuga, and very soon the Dead Fellas. And of course, this will expand into other projects the more and more we get people to want to do this and to update their community. But yes, like Crier said, he's been on the editing side of things and also producing and also recording. So he's just the guy that wears all hats around here at NRN.
That's right. That's what the CEOs do, right?
Load the hat. Load the hats up and let's get going. But in lighter terms, let's go ahead and get into some topics for the week. And when I say lighter terms, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Dookey Dash is a thing. And it's the new game for Yuga Labs and Bored Ape. So if you haven't been under a rock, you know that we have a very important mint coming up very soon on the Yuga side. This is their infamous sewer pass is what they want to go ahead and call it. And it's going to be for a game. This sewer pass is going to allow you to play a game called Dookey Dash. Now, to make it as simple as possible, imagine a Bored Ape style temple run where the higher score you get, the higher tier your ticket, your pass that you have, that sewer pass, is going to have at the end of the tournament, if you want to call it the period of time for the Dookey Dash. I don't want to say Dookey Dash anymore. Dookey Dash. So again, what's going on there is get ready for it. If you have a Bored Ape or you have a Mutant, you will be able to mint for free. Now there is some combinations here. If you have
tiers
a Bored Ape, and you have a dog, you're able to tier up. If you have a mutant and a dog, you're able to tier up as well. And with having that dog, that extra asset, let's go ahead and call
extra
it
multiplier.
It is that multiplier, exactly. But Crier, on the side of this game, what else can we expect from it? Is there any upgrades that you can buy maybe with Ape, or is there something like more news that we have?
For sure, there is a score multiplier that lasts for 10 minutes for 2 Ape that you can purchase. I think overall this is an interesting thing. It goes into the competition of the game. It goes into a new mint kind of cycle, right? Where maybe people will now choose to do mints in this manner where you have to play like a little game and up your score to get rarity instead of having it to be just randomized. Right? Okay. There's that idea for sure. They're trying to innovate on little things, I think, that keep it fun, right? They've already had another game, the arcade game that came out a couple, 6-7 months ago. It was pretty fun. We had a lot of people playing that in the Discord.
Was so hard.
It was difficult. So, again, I think it won't be easy again here. I think it looks like a really fast-paced temple run where you're trying to avoid hitting things while they're coming at you really fast and picking up, other collectible pieces in the game. So, I think it will be difficult, but again, you're going to get an item for it at the end of the day, possibly with a resale value. So we'll see what kind of that leads to. Again, the whole Dookey, I'm not a big fan of. I think they definitely have their own style. That's for sure. I'll say that at least. But
it's catchy. I get it. It is what it is. But hey, listen, we had Bored Apes. We'd be like, yeah. So maybe that's why we're not like that. Let me ask you, Crier, on the side of these sewer passes, what's your expectation on the floor price? And number 2, will you try to snatch one up?
So I will not be trying to snatch one of these bad boys up. I do think it's cool, but actually, shout out to Frankie. He said he's going to delegate one of his passes over to me. So if I get a better score than him, then I get a percentage. So we'll see.
Okay. So let me ask you, what do you think? Let's put the skills to the test on your side. What's floor?
Yeah. Floor, there's 4 tiers. Who knows? There's probably a lot of speculation on these things. I could see it being the low tier being 0.5 to 1, pretty easy out the gate. You think higher? I've seen the rare trades probably going for 8 or 9, probably on the rare ones. We'll see.
No, I'll say the lowest one you'll be able to buy at least an ETH if not 8.
Yeah.
Let's
So there's got to be
the
what, like a
one
minimum of
factor here.
20,000 of those, right? Or
Yeah, there's a bunch. No, it's all mutants
Tier
and all
1.
Bored Apes. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's
It's gonna be a
30,000
boatload.
passes, right? Yeah, there's going to be a pretty large ecosystem to see, depends on what you're going to get. There's going to be a ton of speculation. You don't
That
know what you're
number
going to get.
1 is what you're going to get. Number 2, how easy it is to play. So once the game starts going, we'll see the actual, like right now off the gate, I feel like the prices will be a little bit higher. Once obviously it dies down a little bit, it'll go a little bit low. And then once the game starts, that's the factor there. And if they have new news on what exactly this mint is at the end of the day, if it's just speculation until the end of it, obviously it's just going to stay there. And if it's, I feel like if they wait till the end, we can see this thing come crashing down. Even if it's like good news, oh my God, we're going to get this, it still is going to go down because everyone's expectations are never met for some.
That's always how it is. Yeah, it's always how it is.
Exactly. So I feel like if I personally were to say, hey, when are we going to go ahead and reveal what the heck is at the end? I would say is day 1 of the actual launch of the game itself. Be like, hey, here's the game, and this is exactly what you're going to go ahead and get at the end.
Yeah.
Let's
prizes
get it.
are.
So,
they announced all the prizes of the other game when the game came out. Yeah, the car, the mutant car, or the glass pieces and bongs and stuff like that. There was some interesting prizes. So again, I think this will be cool. I'm sure they're gonna have something cool for it, but we'll see how it goes.
And do we know if it's going to be on mobile, through an app store, through computer? Do we know?
I would assume it's going to be mobile. It looked like the portrait view on that. It looked like you're moving pretty fast too. I think it's got to be PC or mobile for sure. I would definitely say probably more on the mobile side.
Hey, listen, I just got a new phone. It's like massive too. It's the Pro Max. Hey, maybe we slap the game into here, maybe get a little past the bare minimum and see what we got going. But hey, listen, this is going to be interesting to see. Shout out to our resident ape, Nate. He's probably going to have to delegate it to someone because he's really bad at video games.
He already said he's delegated to his wife because she was like crazy good at Temple Run or whatever.
There you go. So if we do, that's going to stay in-house for Nate. So shout out to Chelsea over there. Hopefully you crush it and you're better than Nate so you can hold something against Nate when you guys are having dinner every single day. Thank you, Chelsea. Please do a good job over on
the other aspect I thought was kind of interesting was the high score is locked to the wallet that holds the pass. So if I transfer my pass, I got a really high score. No one else will benefit from that. I won't be able to sell it for a higher price or anything like that if I have a top score. So make sure you remember that it's linked only to that wallet. After you transfer, it resets for that person to whoever receives it. So
absolutely. And remember, whenever these massive mints go live, be very cautious on the side of scam links and clicking the right links that you need to do and not messaging people that I have a pass to sell and all this and that.
I got a really high score.
Yeah, I have a really high score. Let me sell you my pass. All these things. Look into the how-to that they released a few days ago on the Yuga Twitter and Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. It's 4 minutes long. Read it, listen and read it, and make sure that you understand what's about to happen and how you want to go ahead and play this play. Again, on the side of if you have a Bored Ape, claim, do what you got to do. If you're not a gamer, sell it. If you want to delegate to someone, go that route as well. On the other, by the way, delegating, make sure you're not giving it some random 18-year-old or 50-year-old or 70-year-old you met on Web3. Make sure it's someone you trust and you're ready to go with it. And then number 2, again, just make sure on the side, if you do not have these assets to receive the claim, that you're purchasing from the right link on OpenSea, the right project on OpenSea. If anything, reach out to us in the NRN Discord. More than happy to make some step-by-step with you in the general chat to make sure you're receiving the right one or going to the right one, if anything. But let's go into the next topic that we have going on here, Crier. And it's honestly, it's sad. It's a very sad topic. It's a good topic, but then turns sad. So here's our segment of the show that we typically go, hey, what massive Web2 companies coming into the NFT space? And today's massive company is National Geographic. So when you think about National Geographic, you think about nature, you think about incredible pictures, incredible videos, great shows, and animal life, the earth, space, all these things. When you think of all of this, literally is lined up for one of the most perfect NFT projects of all time. It's literally based off of pictures, videos, beautiful citizen, like everything you can think of. And that's not what the community on the Web 2 side is looking this as that opportunity. If you go over to the Instagram, to the Twitter, to any social media of National Geographic where they stated, hey, we're going to go ahead and launch an NFT project with an artist that's been doing this for so long, incredible pictures, incredible content, and the community is
it was very well known.
Furious.
16. There was 16 different photographers, and they're all very highly regarded photographers throughout the years that they've been doing this. It's 135 years of magazine focusing on, and I think it's crazy that people don't really just give it. If you're already a big supporter of Nat Geo, I think this is something right up your alley for sure. Like I could definitely see my parents, my uncle is like a big Nat Geo guy. I could definitely see them supporting something like this. So maybe there will be some backlash at the beginning, but if I think it gets some of the kinks worked out, and I just think that the amount of people that really don't really even realize that it's just a different way to hold these things and keep them for a longer time without having them, lose their value or become dirty or ruined. I think that's important because especially in like a magazine, like those are very easy to, if you're actually looking at them, to rip and stuff like that. So again, I think there's a lot of interesting use cases coming out of this for sure.
No, I definitely agree. But again, on the side of the understanding behind NFTs, the word NFT still has that stigma of it's a scam, crypto, it's not real, you don't really own it, etc. So obviously, on the side of once a massive company like a National Geographic launches and say, hey, we're going into this space, they're going to get backlash. Now, on the side of where these people don't understand, like as an artist, painter, photographer, whatever the case may be on the art side, for years, you can literally just go on Google, copy, paste, and their artwork has been stolen and used and repurposed and the whole nine. This is an opportunity for these individuals to make profits, true profits on what they've brought to the table, not just on the side of National Geographic gets an X amount of percentage to them. They get I would assume National Geographic gets a massive percentage on there and a lot higher than the artist and whatnot, or the photographer, videographer, etc. But again, this is really an opportunity for these creators, these artists, these people to receive what is rightfully theirs and the respect, the monetization opportunity, like all these things. Is just, this isn't that opportunity. And we need to find a way, like us in Web3, to get it in their heads that this is a great opportunity. If you're a content creator, an artist, anyone truly that's just a human being, to be able to monetize what you do. If it's could truly be anything, maybe even contract work, you can sell NFTs for it, or in a way through the blockchain, or just using crypto on that side of things. Like, again, the stigma is still there. And from the news that just came out today, what happened over in Russia, Crier? Someone got arrested, something crazy. So
the U.S.
every
government
day
had
something bad.
Yeah, they had stated that they were going to release some big crypto news. That's what they said in like a couple hours as a press conference or whatever. So everyone's like thinking they like banned something. They banned stablecoin or they banned something like that. And it ended up just being that they took down a like Russian exchange because it was causing problems. I listened to the briefing, but huge dip on crypto. It went all the way down from 1600 to 1510 and back up to 1560 again. So it was just more of a fluke out. But again, I think it's just such a why they don't have any type of regulation coming and update and briefings on these things. It's just ridiculous going after tiny exchanges and not
when we
larger offenders.
When we talk about how the government is so far behind, and obviously they do these things for a reason, because they are so far behind. So they have to make it extra. They have to make it exaggerated so that things come down, slow down, make people like worry and be like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And that's the reason why, so they can play catch up to go ahead and bring that regulation, bring those laws, bring the things, the policies and everything like that. But we are still so far behind on that side. And again, back to the National Geographic side and the stigma behind NFTs and why so much backlash on that side. It's because of this, where the government and SBF and the Binance talk and everyone just saying good things, bad things, and the bad weighs out good right now at the moment, at least. Sure. But when you look at the bad that's come out recently, like SBF, it's honestly a good thing for the space as well, because you're learning that centralized exchanges and not owning your own assets, it's the way that all of this literally just happened. So the better of an understanding, and when I'll tell you from friends that aren't in the space and people that I talk to, they always ask me questions. They didn't realize at first, oh, that makes sense, after I explained what the heck happened with FTX and you don't own those assets and all this, and use the example of, if that's literally what Robinhood, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, that is what it is. But obviously there's regulation behind it, and you're backed up if something were to happen up to X amount of money. But on the side of crypto, if you just own your assets, you do your due diligence, your security, you're going to be fine. So again, sad but good news on the National Geographic side. Hopefully we can see what exactly the project is, and once it launches, we can see it. Because again, if you're a big fan of National Geographic, this is going to be an awesome project to back. I do see it like Times in a way, how this is going to be. It's going to be like that classical view of a project, and maybe not utility at first, but later down the road, they're like, hey, what if we do add some utility and add some things?
It's just a new way to consume media that's been around. They've been around for hundreds of years. They do shows. Did they have a big bunch of backlash when they started doing TV shows instead of doing it as only a publication? It's just, there's going to be a lot of, I think it's just a next step, and how to consume stuff is just different, will be different most likely. So I think they're trying to evolve with the times, and I think that's good for them.
Listen, we'd rather evolve with it than just become the next Blockbuster, because you don't want to go out of business. You want to figure out.
Yeah, they had the chance to acquire Netflix. Like, they had the chance to. There was a bunch of things that they could have done, and look what's happened.
It was because no one wanted to have this at their house streaming. What is that? They need the physical. So things like that. Hey, shout out to National Geographic for taking this jump into the space, because it's going to be hopefully rewarded at the end of it. But another thing that's been going on right now, I know you probably can explain this a lot better than I can, Crier, but the Polygon network has been upgraded. From my smooth brain understanding, the reason for this hard fork was to reduce gas fee spikes, number one, and number two was to address chain recognitions to reduce
reorganizations.
I can't even. Yep, that's definitely what I was trying to say. Reorganizations to reduce reorgs. Let's go with that. Reorgs to reduce the time it takes to complete a data block. That's all I got. I barely know what that means. Crier, what the heck's going on with Polygon?
Sure. Yeah. So again, like I said, there was gas spiking. There was going to be a lot of there was an issue with the POS changes from ETH. So this was how they had set into motion with the EIP 1559 or whatever, I believe. That's when they changed gas dynamics on Ethereum. So I think that's what they were correcting. It makes it a little bit more smooth, and it fits that calculation a little bit better. So without having massive, they're reaching like 2,500 GUI or whatever for some transactions. Now it's hitting like top like 200-300. That was a good move. We also had what they call reorganization. Pretty much a reorganization is while the block is being created, it reduces the length of the time between the data being stored inside the block. So there's only 32 seconds instead of 128 seconds. So you can't really change just data that was already considered locked into the blockchain. So overall, nothing crazy big, but I think it just really helps the network infrastructure to be upgraded in the future. I think it's just another step in the direction of getting ready for more uses of Polygon, with more users coming in. We've seen a lot more people trying to get onto the system. And if you are expecting mass adoption, these things have to be able to handle a serious load, right? People don't understand gas either. This is definitely something where it makes it a lot more reasonable. Even though gas fees are still crazy cheap, you don't see it to spike. Even though it's super cheap, you still don't want to pay 3,000 times what you have to, right?
Absolutely.
I
definitely like what you just said there. Again, these blockchains they understand mass adoption will come one day, and they need to make sure that they're working on the kinks and everything that they have to go ahead and do to make sure that they're ready for that. Right now, we already see issues, and we have not that many people using it. Like, of course, yes, we have millions of people, the whole nine, but you guys know there's 7 billion people in the world. Half of those probably have some ability to go on Wi-Fi, and those people one day, and all these companies one day will be on the blockchain, using the blockchain to effectively conduct business and to conduct their everyday lives and all this. So right now is what people call the bear market. They should be building. This is the perfect time to build, so that when that day does come, Polygon is ready for it. When that day does come on the ETH side, ETH is ready for it. And all these others, from Avalanche to all the other blockchains that we talk about all day long over in NRN or Twitter, Web3 space, the whole nine. So again, shout out to Polygon for going ahead and doing that. And of course, Polygon's been all over the news recently with massive companies partnering with them, big projects going over to them, collaborations with a bunch of projects and companies. So Polygon, like you said, is just getting ready for that mass amount of people that are going to be on the blockchain using it for their day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree. There's a lot of definitely good move. Yeah. As I said, there's also going to be another hard fork coming up in the coming months to just have overall improvements around the network. So this is more just to upgrade the chain. The other one's more to the back end network. So I think they're in the right direction for sure. They need to keep those things beefed up.
Keep building. It's kind of like the end of my show where I try to close the show out with something with bricks. They're definitely using a lot of bricks over at Polygon right now.
That's right.
So that's great job on the brick building. Yep, we're just going to keep on going because
we talked about our bricks that we minted.
What bricks?
You mint the bricks or the matchbooks and stuff like that, or no?
Oh, I did mint those. Yes, I did. I was the one that sent it over, but yeah, they're not doing anything, right?
Not yet. We'll see.
Yeah, we're just waiting. We'll see. We got a lot of, hey, listen, the next AK, I'm the alpha caller now. My alpha calls aren't going too hot right now, but I'm sending them in constantly. I have called them, and they're very cheap, by the way. They're not very expensive for the person that thinks I'm calling, like, oh yeah, buy this for half an ETH or 0.2, 0.3, 0.1. Mine are free or less than 0.01. I'm on the good side. I'm in the trenches.
Chex call worked. That worked well.
That was wild. Yeah, Good job for you, man. Good Lord. But let's wrap this up. We have some little nerd out to go ahead and do at the end of the show. The first reminder, at least, actually, there's two reminders here. Number one is that yesterday, for us it's today, but yesterday, the fourth episode, I think, of Bad Batch has released on Disney Plus. Great Star Wars show that I'm telling everyone to watch. Remember, my favorite lightsaber is coming back. We gotta wait. I don't know if it's this episode, but what just happened in episode 3 was wild. We just brought in a character we haven't seen in a very long time. So awesome stuff on that. The way they connect animated Star Wars together is so freaking cool. Number one. Number two, we did go ahead and see a new Mandalorian trailer with a lot of really cool cameos. And some people saw, I'm not going to spoil anything, but some people saw some awesome things in there. So check out that trailer on that side. We talked about this last time. Ant-Man trailer has released. It was on the National Championship Day, but now tickets for Ant-Man 3 are now out. So if you're like me and you live in a very populated area, Orlando, and I like to go to the biggest theater in all Florida, I went ahead and locked in those tickets on literally like 2 or 3 minutes after they released the actual tickets themselves. So go out there, check on Regal, check on Cinemar, wherever you go, and get those tickets now. Now, the last thing that we got to go ahead and talk about. I know, Cryer, you didn't do your homework just yet, but you're excited. You're excited to do this homework, right? The Last of Us season 1 is out, and let me tell you, Cryer, it's unbelievable. Like, it literally got rated the highest ranking of all time for an episode 1 of any show ever. Nice. That's how good it was. That's how good. Literally, that was how good it was. And from someone that didn't play Last of Us, and for someone that watched someone play it a little bit, like the first hour, 2 hours of it, but a good understanding of, I love zombies and the shows, movies, video games, the whole nine, The Walking Dead, everything, until they walked way too much in Walking Dead. But what happened with this show on the first episode, it was literally page for page or pixel for pixel from the video game. Did you say pixel for pixel?
Pixel by pixel.
Pixel by pixel. from the video game. This was unbelievable, and the actors, the graphics, the storyline, it hit you like a freaking Mack truck. Like the scenes, everything, absolutely.
I mean, once you get
phenomenal.
immersed into the game, that was literally probably one of the best storylines of a game.
Dude,
like it was very good. They did a really good job on it, so I'm really excited to watch it.
Definitely recommend for anyone. These episodes are coming out every Sunday, and I don't believe this, but I have to say, and I know you're going to be upset about this, but I think HBO found its next Game of Thrones series. Like, you know how Westworld was supposed to be like the next big thing for HBO? For you and I, it was. But for the rest of the world, I think this is going to be it for them. This looks really good. Let's just hope they can keep driving it, keep doing great stuff. And remember, there's two actual video games, so they got 7 or 8 seasons ready for us. So hopefully we get some really cool things. And if you're a very impatient individual, just slap over a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and just pick up the game and play the game. Pretty much what we got going there. I'll tell you right now, I'm on a waiting list for a PlayStation 5. And I've been on there for like a year and a half. If I ever get onto this wait list, I will definitely get The Last of Us and, of course, all the Marvel games I was not able to play. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Anything you want to close out, Crier, here?
No, that's about it. I'm gonna go watch that episode.
Yeah, soon. You go watch that.
Do my homework.
The rest of you, have a great day. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you guys next week on another episode of Nerd FT Radio. And I don't know how to close this show still, so peace.
Later.